What if I told you history is filled with stories so unbelievable they sound completely made up? A continent where tens of thousands were executed for witchcraft, a colonial town consumed by fear and accusations, and an elderly farmer whose final words became legendary. And somehow, every one of these stories is true. Here are 5 history facts that sound fake, but aren't. Our next story takes us to Europe during the height of the Great Witch Hunts between the 15th and 17th centuries. Imagine living in a small village where nearly everyone knows one another. The seasons determine whether families have enough food to survive. A failed harvest can bring hunger. A sudden illness can claim an entire household. Without modern medicine or scientific explanations, many people searched for answers wherever they could find them. Sometimes those answers came in the form of witchcraft. Across much of Europe, a growing belief took hold that certain individuals had made pacts with the devil, granting them the power to cause disease, destroy crops, poison livestock, and bring misfortune upon entire communities. Fear spread from village to village, fueled by rumors, religious conflict, and uncertainty. Contrary to what many people believe, the largest witch hunts did not occur during the Middle Ages. Most took place much later, between the late 15th century and the 17th century, during a period of tremendous political and religious upheaval across Europe. As accusations increased, neighbors began turning against neighbors. A personal dispute, an unexpected tragedy, or even a failed harvest could sometimes be enough to place someone under suspicion. Once accused, proving innocence was often extremely difficult. Trials varied from region to region. Some courts required evidence and testimony, while others relied heavily on confessions that had been extracted under torture. Fear often spread faster than reason, creating waves of accusations that could engulf entire communities. Historians estimate that between 40,000 and 60,000 people were executed for witchcraft across Europe. Although men were also accused, roughly 3/4 of those executed were women. Over time, attitudes slowly began to change. Judges became increasingly skeptical of unreliable testimony. Scholars questioned long-held beliefs about witchcraft, and advances in science offered natural explanations for many events that had once been blamed on supernatural forces. Gradually, the great European witch hunts came to an end. Today, they remain one of history's most sobering examples of how fear, misinformation, and suspicion can influence entire societies. A quiet reminder that extraordinary claims, when accepted without evidence, can sometimes have extraordinary consequences. Our next story takes us to the small village of Salem, Massachusetts, in the spring of 1692. Imagine waking in a quiet colonial settlement surrounded by dense forests. Wooden homes line muddy streets. Church bells mark the passing of each day. And nearly every aspect of life revolves around faith and the close-knit community. It is a place where everyone knows one another, and where rumors can spread almost as quickly as the wind. Then, without warning, several young girls begin behaving in ways no one can explain. They scream without reason, fall to the ground in violent fits, and claim they are being tormented by invisible forces. Ministers and local officials search for answers, but with no clear medical explanation available, many conclude that witchcraft must be responsible. Before long, accusations begin. At first, only a handful of people are suspected, but fear quickly grows. Friends accuse friends. Neighbors testify against neighbors. Even respected members of the community find themselves under suspicion. The courts accepted a controversial form of testimony known as spectral evidence, in which witnesses claimed that a person's spirit had appeared to them in dreams or visions. Although impossible to verify, these claims were often treated as credible evidence during the trials. Over the course of the next several months, more than 200 people were accused of practicing witchcraft. 19 were convicted and executed by hanging. One man died after refusing to enter a plea. Several others died while awaiting trial in prison. Eventually, doubts about the proceedings began to grow. Religious leaders questioned the use of spectral evidence, and colonial officials became increasingly concerned that innocent people were being condemned. By early 1693, the trials were brought to an end. In the years that followed, many of those involved publicly admitted the trials had been a terrible mistake. Some jurors apologized for their decisions, and the colony later offered compensation to several of the victims' families. Today, the Salem Witch Trials remain one of the most famous episodes of mass hysteria in American history, a quiet reminder that fear, when allowed to replace evidence, can lead ordinary communities to make extraordinary mistakes. Our next story takes us back to Salem, Massachusetts, during the autumn of 1692. Imagine being an elderly farmer after a lifetime of hard work. Your fields have been tended for decades, your family has grown, and your land represents everything you've spent a lifetime building. At 81 years old, you hope to live out your remaining years in peace. Instead, your name appears among those accused of witchcraft. Giles Corey was a respected landowner in Salem when the witch trials reached their height. Like many others, he found himself caught in a growing wave of fear and suspicion. Accusers claimed he had practiced witchcraft, despite there being no physical evidence to support the allegations. When Corey was brought before the court, he made an extraordinary decision. Rather than pleading guilty or innocent, he refused to enter any plea at all. Under English law at the time, a trial could not proceed unless the accused entered a plea. To force one, authorities turned to an ancient legal punishment known as peine forte et dure, or strong and hard punishment. Corey was laid on the ground, and a wooden board was placed across his chest. One by one, heavy stones were added. The weight increased hour after hour as officials repeatedly demanded that he enter a plea. According to tradition, Corey refused every request. Instead, he answered with just 2 words: more weight. After 2 days of relentless pressure, Giles Corey died without ever entering a plea. Historians believe his decision may have been deliberate. Had he been convicted of witchcraft, his property could have been confiscated by the colonial government. By refusing to plead, Corey prevented a conviction, allowing his land to remain with his family instead. His death shocked many people, even at the time. Only a few days later, several more executions took place, but growing public unease continued to build. Within weeks, support for the trials began to collapse, helping bring the Salem Witch Trials to an end. Today, Giles Corey is remembered as one of the most remarkable figures of the Salem Witch Trials. His final act became a symbol of courage, determination, and resistance in the face of overwhelming injustice. A quiet reminder that even when everything else is taken away, a person can still choose how they face history. Our next story takes us back to Mexico City on the afternoon of June 22, 1986. Imagine sitting among more than 100,000 spectators inside the Azteca Stadium. Only minutes earlier, Diego Maradona had scored the controversial Hand of God goal. England's players were still frustrated, and the crowd was still buzzing. Few realized they were about to witness another moment that would make history. With Argentina leading, Maradona received the ball just inside his own half. One defender stepped forward. He slipped past him. Then another. Then another. Keeping the ball remarkably close to his feet, Maradona sprinted more than 60 meters through the England defense, weaving past 5 players before facing goalkeeper Peter Shilton. As Shilton rushed forward, Maradona calmly moved around him and rolled the ball into the open net. The stadium erupted. Even those who had just condemned his previous goal could hardly deny the brilliance of this one. Years later, FIFA asked football fans around the world to vote for the greatest goal in World Cup history. Maradona's incredible solo run was chosen as the goal of the century. What makes the story so remarkable is that it happened only minutes after one of football's most controversial goals. In a single match, Maradona created 2 moments that would be remembered forever, one for its controversy, the other for its extraordinary skill. Today, the goal of the century remains one of the greatest individual plays ever seen in sport, a quiet reminder that sometimes true greatness lasts only a few seconds, yet is remembered for generations. Imagine a nation filled with excitement as the FIFA World Cup begins. Across Colombia, Streets are decorated with flags, televisions fill with eager fans, and millions believe their national team has a genuine chance to compete for the championship. After years of impressive performances, expectations have never been higher. Among the team's most respected players is defender Andrés Escobar. Known for his calm demeanor, sportsmanship, and leadership, Escobar had earned admirations both on and off the field. Teammates and fans alike viewed him as one of Colombia's brightest stars. Then came a match against the United States. Early in the game, an American cross was played into Colombia's penalty area. Escobar stretched to intercept the ball, hoping to clear the danger. Instead, it deflected into his own net. The own goal gave the United States an early lead. Colombia eventually lost the match and was eliminated from the tournament, ending what many had hoped would be a historic World Cup run. For most athletes, an unfortunate mistake is simply part of competition. But in Colombia during the 1990s, the situation was far more complicated. The country was struggling with violence, fueled by powerful drug cartels and organized crime. Enormous sums of money had been wagered on football matches, and emotions surrounding the World Cup ran dangerously high. Just days after returning home, Escobar visited friends at a local restaurant in Medellin. As he left the restaurant during the early hours of July 2, 1994, he became involved in an argument in the parking lot. The confrontation turned deadly. Andrés Escobar was shot and killed at just 27 years old. His death shocked the sporting world. More than 100,000 people attended his funeral, while millions more mourned across Colombia and around the world. For many, his tragic death became a symbol of the devastating consequences of allowing violence and hatred to overshadow sport. Today, Andrés Escobar is remembered not for a single own goal, but for his integrity, humility, and sportsmanship. A quiet reminder that behind every athlete is a human being, and that some moments in history are remembered not for the game itself, but for the lessons they leave behind. Those were 5 history facts that sound completely fake, but actually happened. If you enjoyed this video, there's plenty more unbelievable history still to uncover, so be sure to subscribe for more bizarre history every week. And tell me in the comments, which story was the hardest to believe? Until next time, remember, history is often stranger than fiction.